The first human died not with a scream, but with a whisper that echoed across the void of space. I watched from the observation deck of the last surviving orbital station, the blackness stretching infinitely, and wondered if we had finally earned the universe's scorn. But that was only the beginning. They came without warning, a fleet of silver monoliths that reflected our dying sun like shards of broken glass. The aliens, tall, faceless beings whose limbs bent in angles no human anatomy could replicate, did not speak. They simply hovered, an entire civilization judging us in silence. I, Captain Elias Ward, felt the weight of humanity's centuries-long mistakes pressing on my chest. Our debt to the galaxy had never been hidden, we just thought it was theoretical. Why us? I asked the void, even as the ship's shadows swallowed the outer rim of Earth's orbit. My second-in-command, Lieutenant Mara Chen, didn't answer. She was staring at the same silent judgment, her hands clenched into fists that trembled. The first micro-hook hit before the words left my mouth. The largest monolith shifted, splitting open like a living wound in space. And from that rift, a single figure descended. Its skin shimmered with a color my eyes could not name. It had no eyes, yet it looked straight at me. "Captain Ward," it said in a voice that was both everywhere and nowhere, "your people owe more than you know." I swallowed, a lump in my throat. Debt? What debt? Our wars, our conquests, the pollution, the neglect? I had thought those were just our private sins. But the alien's next words shattered my pretense of understanding. "Your survival is conditional." What I saw next changed everything. The being extended a limb, thin, metallic, impossibly long, and a small device hovered above my hand. It wasn't a weapon. It wasn't a gift. It was a ledger. A record of every human failure the galaxy had witnessed. Every war. Every genocide. Every ecological collapse. And at the bottom of the ledger, me. My ancestors. My planet. "Redemption must be exact," it continued. "And it will be witnessed." The second micro-hook, a pulse of light from the monoliths, sent shivers through the station. Time itself seemed to slow. The ledger had already begun writing new entries. Our debt was evolving in real time. I was chosen, though I did not know why. Humanity's final chance was in my hands. The alien, or perhaps the arbiter of all interstellar justice, gave me a single directive: retrieve the talisman of Otheria from the ruins of old Earth and bring it here. A human artifact, lost for centuries, said to contain the last pure energy of our homeworld before it was scorched by our own hubris. But that was only the beginning. The journey was not just physical. Earth itself had become a tomb. Cities were hollow, their skeletons lit only by the pale sunlight that filtered through a toxic haze. The talisman lay buried beneath the ruins of New Tokyo, guarded by the machines we had created to serve us but which now judged us. Autonomous drones patrolled streets like vultures, scanning for any human scent. One touch, one misstep, and we would be nothing more than another entry in the ledger. I remembered my family, the ones who hadn't made it off-world. I remembered Mara's younger brother, taken by the floods we ignored. My guilt twisted into resolve. If the galaxy demanded a sacrifice, it would be me, but I would not let humanity vanish quietly. We reached the talisman after days that felt like years. It rested in the center of a collapsed cathedral, its crystalline structure glowing faintly like a dying star. But the third microhook struck when Mara whispered, "It's alive." It pulsed as if it knew us, responding to our presence. The energy was sentient, aware, almost fearful. And then the ground trembled. Not from machines this time, but from something older. Something we had never known. A guardian, more ancient than our records could comprehend, rose from the ruins, a being of stone and energy, eyes burning with the judgment of millennia. "Prove worthiness," it intoned, "or perish." Our fight was not of fists or bullets, but of endurance and trust. Mara and I faced our deepest fears. The talisman demanded we confront the sins of our own hearts, replaying every failure we had tried to forget. I saw my father's cowardice, my own hesitations, every lie I had told myself to survive. Mara faced the death she could not prevent, the family she could not save. None of us were prepared for the truth. The talisman did not test our strength. It tested our humanity. The moment we accepted our failures without excuses, the talisman accepted us. It hovered between us, a bridge between past sins and potential redemption. We returned to the monolith fleet with the talisman. The aliens observed, silent as ever. I placed it on the platform they had prepared, expecting fire, punishment, annihilation. Instead, the artifact resonated, emitting waves of energy that expanded outward, touching every ship. For a moment I thought we had failed. But then came the shock. The fleet trembled, not in anger but in awe. The energy of a redeemed species coursed through the galaxy, ancient records updating, judgments rewriting themselves. And I realized, humanity had paid its debt not through war, not through conquest, but through understanding, through reckoning, through confronting the very essence of what made us flawed and uniquely human. The fourth microhook hit like a physical blow. The aliens, the arbiters, the enforcers of cosmic justice, they bowed not out of submission but recognition. They had never expected mercy to emerge from the species they had condemned. But that was only the beginning. The talisman's energy fused with the monoliths, transforming them into conduits of human creativity and resilience. We saw planets untouched by war flourish as if seated by the purity of our acknowledgement. The galaxy, once indifferent, now noticed us, not as conquerors but as a species capable of deep moral courage. Yet the cost was not negligible. Mara and I returned to the orbital station to find Earth's remnants waiting for us, scarred, fragile and vulnerable. Humanity had survived, but the scars of our hubris remained. And though we had earned the galaxy's gaze, we had not earned its forgiveness entirely. I recorded a message for the survivors: we have paid our debt. Not with weapons but with understanding. Not with fear but with truth. The galaxy has shaken. And it listens now. The final microhook came unexpectedly. A single monolith detached from the fleet and descended slowly toward Earth. Its surface rippled, displaying visions of our past. The wars, the famines, the environmental collapse. Then it displayed visions of our potential. Cities powered by clean energy, people walking freely on worlds we had only dreamed of, civilizations cooperating across star systems. And then it spoke directly to me again. Captain Ward, the ledger is closed but the record continues. Humanity may rise or fall. The choice is yours. What I saw next changed everything. The monolith opened a small compartment. Inside lay a seed, an actual fragment of the galaxy's consciousness, condensed into a crystalline core. If humanity planted it wisely, it would grow into knowledge, wisdom, and power beyond our reckoning. If we failed, it would wither and we would revert to our old, destructive ways. Mara held my hand. Her eyes reflected the stars, the fleet, the broken earth. We have a chance, she said quietly. Not just survival. A future. And somewhere, far across the cosmic expanse, I felt the faint pulse of recognition, as if the galaxy itself had nodded. The emotional low point came suddenly, when I realized that even with the talisman, even with the seed, we were still fragile. One wrong decision, one failure of empathy, and all we had accomplished could collapse. But that fragility, I understood, was what made us human. Our capacity to fail, and to rise again, was the debt we had paid in full. The third act surged forward with unstoppable momentum. We planted the seed in orbit around Earth, a testament to our reckoning. Energy cascaded outward, healing the skies, purifying the waters, reviving ecosystems. The fleet slowly withdrew, leaving humanity with a warning and a gift. And then the last shock came almost quietly. The monoliths, the arbiters, had left a final message etched into the void. We underestimated you. Do not let us be wrong again. I stared at the stars, feeling the weight of all we had endured. Humanity had survived judgment, confronted its darkest truths and emerged, not unscathed but unbroken. The galaxy had shaken, yes, but in that trembling, it had glimpsed our potential. The last line I whispered into the void, a vow and a promise both. We have paid our debt, and now the universe will know what humans can become.